What up YouTube? I want to show you guys how to play Dungeon Arena. Now, it's got a lot of great aspects, a ton of cards, as you can see, tons of cards, and it takes a lot of cool things from different TCGs like Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! And maybe even a little bit of Pokemon. So it also enters a couple of different mechanics for my own stuff. So let's kind of look down at the table, kind of show you guys how to play the game, and hopefully you guys are interested in purchasing this game. There'll be two different things you can purchase: the booster packs, which come with 18 different cards, 2 rares in every pack, whether that be an epic creature or a legendary creature. And then also, you'll also get a starter deck. Now the starter decks will come out a little bit later, but the booster packs will be ready by tomorrow, Saturday, the 23rd? I think that's when it is. I think today's the 22nd, so we'll say Saturday the 23rd. So let's look at the table, see how the game's played. Hopefully it piques your interest because this game is a lot of fun. So let's take a look, shall we? Snail. All right. So hopefully you guys see this fairly decent. So at the start of the game, what you're going to always want to have is a 40 card deck. No more, no less. Needs to be 40 cards. And then your 3 gold coins. The 3 gold coins will never change. There'll always be 3 gold coins. You spend them just like you tap mana in Magic the Gathering. Anytime you purchase a card, you will spend a gold. And then on your next turn, any gold that's spent, you earn back. So that's one thing you want to make sure that you know, because you may forget to earn your gold back. So very important. And I'll go over a couple of the key different creatures here. Of course, I've done this in other videos, but I just want to make sure that everybody is understanding. Here we have an epic creature, and then very quickly, what we have with these creatures are different stats. So you have the name up at the top, 4 attack, 4 defense. Defense is represented by the shield, with the attack represented with the cross swords. In the center is a 2 cost to play this card. Now, when you play this card, you immediately spend your gold, and then it is played. And as long as you're not the first person playing, if you were starting a match, the only time you would not be able to attack right away is if you're the first one who's actually starting the game off. But any other time, you can attack immediately. So if I had no other cards, this mutant rat would be able to immediately do damage to me. Next, we have elite creatures, the exact same as a basic creature. The only difference is elite creatures have abilities down at the bottom. Then we have epic creatures. Epic creatures are your rare cards. Now these cards are pretty awesome. This one's a 4/4, and then it has a question mark in the center. Now, question mark because it's a sacrifice. You're going to be sacrificing 1 creature. What does that mean? Well, let's take a look. If I had this mutant rat here in play, what I would need to do is I would need to sacrifice at least 1 creature from play to play this ultimate knight. So we'll sacrifice our mutant rat and play our epic creature ultimate knight. And that's how epic creatures are played. And then the last creature I want to talk about are legendary creatures. Now these are ones that I've been kind of talking about the last couple of videos. This one's a 3/10. Yeah, crazy stats. This is the Colossal Hydra. As you can see in the center, that gold coin is now a red coin with a number 8 in the center. Now, not all of them are number 8. This one just happens to be 8. Now, what you could do to bring this guy out, say we had a mutant rat. He has a cost of 2. And then we had a 2 Umber Hulks, which also have a cost of 2. And then a 100-eyed beast, with also conveniently with a cost of 2. Each one of these have a cost of 2, equaling a total number of 8. So that is enough for us to play this Hydra. The cool thing with legendary creatures is they sit in a side deck. So if I at any time wanted to play this and I had the correct value here, then I could play this. Now the value just has to equal or be higher than the value here on the card. So since we have at least 8 here, we can discard these 4 to play our Colossal Hydra. Now you might be thinking, wow, that's crazy. Why would I spend or discard 4 cards to play 1 card? Well, first thing is they're not always going to be worth 2. Some of them are worth 3, so you don't have to discard 4 cards sometimes. But these legendary creatures are sometimes just so unstoppable, they're almost worth it. So it's really up to you and how you want to play the game. So it just gives you more options. Alright, the other cards I want to talk about are item cards. which can be equipped to your creatures to give them buffed up stats or maybe special abilities. Then we also have spells. Spells can be played during your turn, and what happens with the spell is as soon as you play it, the effect kicks off and then the spell is discarded. And then lastly, we have a trap. Let me get a good one out here. So we have Cyclone Shift. And then these can be played at certain periods of time. So what it says here, it says at the end of the rival's turn, that's the trigger. Now the effect is when you play this, place one rival creature back into their hand. So that's a pretty great card. So you can play Cyclone Shift at a very good time, but you want to make sure you have enough gold to do so, because again, you don't earn your gold until the beginning of your next turn. So very, very important to do that. Alright, so those are all the different kinds of cards. Now let me kind of go through a little bit of the starting of the game. Say we're already a couple turns in, that way we can kind of move this game along, and it's our turn to play. Now at the start of every turn, you draw back to 5 cards in your hand, and you start the game with 5 cards in your hand. So these are our 5 cards that we've chosen, or at least drawn. What we can do on our turn is we can kind of sift through our cards, figure out what we're going to play, and maybe come up with a good future plan of attack here. Now we do have one creature that we could play, which is that Ripvine Troll here. This Ripvine Troll we will play and spend a coin, or spend a gold rather. The rest of the cards we'll hold on to for maybe a later turn, and we'll place them down. Now one thing I want to tell you here is if this Ripvine Troll, if this Ripvine Troll did some damage to me, and say this blue pile was my deck, he would be doing 3 damage to me. Well, how do we tell? Well, it's not by dice, and it's not by anything else, it's by our deck. So if he did 3 damage to me, and this blue deck right here was my deck, I would have to discard 3 cards off the top of my deck. And how you win the game is getting your rival's deck to 0. As soon as it's to 0, the game is over, and the player who got their opponent's deck to 0 wins the game. It's pretty cool part, and you're always flowing cards. The one thing about it though is you can play it strategically. So of course we have these 5 cards that we draw every turn, and if you can get your card, let's see, you played this card and he only have 1 card left, but you guys only have 1 card left, what'll end up happening is on the next turn he has to draw back to 5 cards, which ends up killing him in the long run. So you see how the game can be strategically played. So that's pretty much the gist of the game. There's a couple different things you could do in the game that that allow the cards to manipulate the rules, but the one effect that always and cannot be manipulated is the amount of creatures you can have in play. You can only have 5 creatures in play at any given moment. So that's very important to note, because you can never have more than 5 creatures. Now there's tons of cards and there's tons of different things you can do in the game. As far as spells, traps, items, creatures, different creatures you can summon. We have different token creatures for different things that may summon more creatures. For like the demon token here, if you had the Howler or the Howling Demon, he's an epic creature. He brings a whole slew of these demon tokens out. It's pretty awesome. But there's so many different things and combinations that you can do, and I really hope that you guys are interested in playing this game, because it's been definitely a blast play testing and making the game and coming up with a bunch of different rules to this game. And it's a fairly simple game. What makes it complex are the different effects that kick off with the creatures and the spells and traps and stuff like that. Obviously, this has a lot of resemblance to other TCGs out there. But I think the biggest difference is the deck being your life. Your life is represented by the deck. So you really want to play it, kind of sparingly. You don't want to be like all, crazy offensive, just throw everything out, because, at the start of your next turn you have to draw back to 5, and now you're losing even more life. You're killing yourself. So you want to kind of balance that, find that happy medium. So, tell me what you guys think about this game. Hopefully you enjoyed this how to play. Hopefully it made a lot of sense. And it's been great making this game. I cannot wait to play with you guys, honestly. Hopefully you guys make some purchases. Let me know what you guys think. If you do, maybe we can Skype a couple games. Hey, I'm down for anything. You guys have a great rest of your weekend, And, you know, just stay classy. I don't know. Thanks for watching, everyone.